Hey guys, Brown's thoughts here on the Off the Mic Sports Network. I have, been consistent in my opinion. I don't want anything to do with Shedeur Sanders at number 2 overall. I'd be okay with Cam Ward, but I don't think the Browns need to take a quarterback. But this fan base continues to amaze me at the levels of stupidity. And I'll just say it. For those of you who are wrestling fans who come here on this channel, like I said, this is the perfect blend of sports and sports entertainment here of what we do here on the Off the Mic Sports Network. Y'all are getting worked. You are getting worked. This is a complete work because, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, on social media, Well Off Media, which is the Sanders family, they do their own social media content. Shedeur Sanders was seen, talking about what he does in Madden, and he basically said, yeah, you know what? The team that I play on in Madden is the Browns. If you are stupid enough to believe that Shedeur Sanders actually plays as the Cleveland Browns in Madden, I don't know what to tell you, man. But hey, Browns fans are so needy for a quarterback. They're like, hey, oh, he embraces us. Yeah, he gets it. Guys, do you realize what is going on right now? Shedeur Sanders is manipulating the system here. This is totally a play from the Sanders side. If you think that this is in any way some way to lobby to the Cleveland Browns to take him at number 2, you are an idiot. You're an idiot. And you know what? Maybe the Browns are stupid enough to buy into it. I wouldn't put the front office past it because, hey, they're going to overcorrect with a mistake and just take what they think is a quarterback to fix what is the Deshaun Watson issue, which I have openly said. It's like, listen, just because you screwed up on Deshaun Watson doesn't mean you have to go take the best of a bad crop of quarterbacks. I mean, hey, if you want to take Jackson Dart in the second round, which I don't think is going to happen, I'd actually be okay with that. Jackson Dart, I honestly think, would be a decent fit for the Cleveland Browns. Some people don't like him. I actually like Jackson Dart. So we can talk about that at another point. But taking a quarterback at number 2 overall just because you screwed up the quarterback position with Deshaun Watson is not the way to go. And especially Shedeur Sanders. With all of the personality stuff and, you're attaching yourself to the family. Dion's very about himself. It's just going to become a circus. And that's why I don't want anything to do with this. But here's the problem. Y'all are getting worked by this whole thing. If you think Shedeur, just because he is, openly talked positive about the Cleveland Browns and openly, said, hey, I'd be okay playing for the Cleveland Browns, and Dion backing off of the public perception that he doesn't want them to go to Cleveland, which, maybe he's right. Guys, look who's picking right behind the Cleveland Browns. It's the New York Giants. Look who's picking even further down the board at number 6, I believe. Number 3 is the Giants. Number 6 is the Las Vegas Raiders. And people will say, oh, they're not as good situations. Guys, do you think Dion and Shedeur give a flying fuck about situations? And also, if you're trying to prop up the Cleveland Browns as a better situation than anything of a bad bunch of situations, first of all, the Giants have Malik Neighbors. They have a good offensive coach in Brian Daboll. They have a better offensive line than the Cleveland Browns. And, they've got some decent pieces all over the place. They've got Brian Burns on defense. They've got Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, the Browns have a disgruntled defensive star in Myles Garrett that wants to get the fuck out of there. Don't tell me that the Browns are a better situation. What is going on here by Shedeur just doing all of this social media content is drumming up this thing. And in a weird way, if the Browns actually can see this, they might have a team desperate behind them to trade up and get Shedeur Sanders. And they can get picks, which is what I want them to do in the first place. So if you think that this is a product of the Browns, oh, a quarterback gets us, he wants us to come here. Guys, I have been seeing this for 25 years. And quarterbacks, wanting to come here. I've seen better and more talented people come into this place in Cleveland and come into that building and fail. If you think Shedeur Sanders at this state of where the Browns are is going to save this franchise, you are delusional. I've been saying this. And just because, oh my God, he plays as us in Madden. First of all, that is a load of shit. Are you kidding me? Guys, even Browns fans don't play as the Cleveland Browns. The Browns have stunk. That's out of a couple of years. What are we talking about? Because he embraces us in video games and these bad faith grifters like Nick Carnes who are just, drumming up things. Because you know what? Those guys are a bunch of frauds because the minute that the narrative changes off of a quarterback, like all those guys were in on Baker Mayfield. The second he got traded, the second that he sucked, we were done with him. We were all about Deshaun Watson. And you know what happened? The second Deshaun Watson sucked, oh, we're getting off of him. So now we're attaching ourselves to the best quarterback in a bad quarterback class. Just because the quarterback position is a need doesn't mean that you have to force premium draft capital on a position that is a fucking crapshoot just as much as everything else in this draft. Take the best player on the board or trade out. Because clearly what is happening before your eyes, even though you refuse to see it, Browns fans, is you are getting worked. Like in wrestling, it's either a work or a shoot. This is clearly a work by the Sanders family. It's like, in what world do you think a major star, let alone a Sanders, who is all about the glitz and the glamour, is willingly playing as the Cleveland Browns in Madden? Come on. It's because of the number 2 pick in the draft. They're trying to drum up interest. They don't want to play for the Cleveland Browns. Or, hey, maybe they're trying to work this front office into thinking, hey, they actually want. Come on, what are we doing here? Really? You guys are a bunch of morons. And I thought this fan base was actually kind of intelligent with a bunch of smart fans. But you know what? You've been exposing yourselves for the last couple of years in terms of, oh, we wanted Deshaun Watson. I could have told you that wasn't going to work. Oh, hey, Shedeur Sanders, number 2 overall, got a great completion percentage. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? This team has bigger issues than quarterback. They've got a disgruntled defensive end who's not really, who doesn't even know if this team's going to compete. He's convinced about leaving. The offensive line's a mess. They had to shuffle the offensive staff. And you have other pieces to fix on this team. And just because there are quarterbacks at the top of the draft doesn't mean that you need to pick a quarterback. If that was the case, then teams would have picked Kenny Pickett 3 years ago instead of going up to 20. And even that was too soon for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Come on. You guys are smarter than this. And when I see this whole Madden conversation, it was one of the dumbest talking points that I've ever seen. I feel like I'm the only person who plays as the Browns in Madden because I'm a Browns sicko. And this franchise has let me down for 25 years. But this fan base in the last several months, hell, since dating back to the Deshaun Watson trade, has really disappointed me. Because you guys have no fucking idea what you are talking about. Get over yourselves. You're being worked by the Sanders family. I am convinced. And you know what? If the Browns organization and the people in the front office are stupid enough to do this and take a quarterback because they're trying to save their jobs, that's the only reason why you do it. The Browns are in such an unenviable position because, hey, listen, like the GM's on the verge of getting fired. The coach is on the verge of getting fired because they hitched their wagons to a bad quarterback situation. And now they've got to go overcorrect it. That's the only reason why you take a quarterback in this situation. But if they're smart, and if this organization is smart, which I have no optimism about this, and they don't listen to this fan base, they won't take the quarterback. They won't buy into this nonsense. And they'll figure out a way to start rebuilding this team. Because you aren't getting closer to winning the AFC. This team is much further away. 2023 was an outlier because Joe Flacco rescued this team. And he ain't walking through that door. So, I'm serious. You guys are a bunch of idiots. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.